I wanted to address this archaeological find at Göbekli Tepe and Karen Tepe. And also, this would be like the ufra man, or you could even say these were the molai on Easter Island. But I'd like to address this and explain it. In these pictures, you will notice that the actual people here, you can see their ribs, and they're grabbing their penises and they're looking at the sky. And in some of these around the world, the mouth is actually sewn shut. I think on the figure on the left, people are addressing that as being sewn shut. But what I'd like to explain here, and what I would like to propose, is that it's a very long story, simplified for you right here. God created giants, and they're all gone. And they lived on the earth, and they did all kinds of shit. And there were all kinds of human, different biological type entities, like, that were all growing up from the side of the like the chimpanzees and the baboons and all the ape-like creatures, the Denisonovan. These people all were, kind of from the, the monkey. But then there was the Australopithecus. He came from like a dog, and he was coming up. So there were lots of human-type beings coming out of the woodwork back then. And they were fighting each other and mating with each other, and all of our cultures and everything, were working with each other, and it was an amazing time. I can't even imagine it, It's just absolutely phenomenal time. But as all of the people on earth realized, God didn't come back. He didn't come back to none of them. What you're seeing here and on Easter Island are cultures that are seeing their cultures end. These men are representing themselves as starving, and they have nothing that they can offer God but the dick in their hand to make babies. I mean, this is a representation of man looking to God, not knowing what to fucking say, and looking at God and saying, what do you want me to do? Are you coming or not? Now, we may not understand it this way, and you may not, and we may think this is completely silly. But I've spent my life in anthropology and watching cultures develop and go through all these things, and then they fall apart. And the people scatter, and their cultures scatter. 10,000 years ago, these people at Göbekli Tepe built temples that they used for 1,000 years, buried them, built another temple. I think Göbekli Tepe actually is several thousand years of cycling, making these structures. And I think their culture got smaller and smaller until they were gone, whoever they were. And when we look at, people don't want to talk about giants, but if you look at the Göbekli Tepe large rooms and you look at the benches, how nice they are and how tall the T-pillars go up above them, these were big people. And I think the identification in anthropology with a smaller entity in carvings and such, some are large, some are small, is that these people realized that the actual survivors were the ants. Not the ants as we know now, but the little people who were, at one time controlled by these people, and they ate these little people. And their fathers raised people to eat, and they put them in dolmens like chicken coops, And the dolmen was to protect their people from other animals, but the chicken coops were giving their people freedom. So you can look at it any way. A dolmen is really a fortress for a human, and you can determine who built it and what it was used for. But what you're seeing here is very similar to what you would see at Solomon Islands. And I guess in the story is that I think God wanted to make people that weren't connected to him so much, because these people back then, they knew things because of magnetism and stuff in a way that we don't know about it, because they were super smart, smarter than us. People call some of them the Nephilim, and their heads are different and all that, but there was knowledge back then that was very, very, very powerful and very, very dangerous, and yet the average person never really profited from it, and their cultures just fell away. Power was kept by powerful people. These are people looking into the sky. The vision of this is, and it's all over the world, just looking in the sky and saying, why didn't you ever come? Why didn't you ever come and help us? God didn't make people to come down here and fix all their shit. He's busy making a planet that functions halfway decent. And he's waiting for a son, a person who is like him, that is in love with being alive and not held to any spiritual requirement, that can think on his own and can just be real with him, because when God was alone for so long, he just wanted somebody to talk to, and he's never really had someone to talk to. And now we're here, we're not connected to him, we're in a frequency with them, so we are in the same tune, but we're not being told what to do by the watchers or the angels anymore. We are the ants. We are, as the kings were all broken down like rocks to sand, so did the kings become whittled down into man.